What's up, everybody? It's Arid Lords here. Sorry for another brief delay with the vlogs for the channel. Um, how many days was it? It was a few days. Just kind of getting logistics together, as I said, with postgraduate stuff. I wanted to discuss in this video about a particular topic that I've only made one vlog about, and this was a very long time ago, back when the show actually premiered. I wanted to give some of my initial thoughts. Granted, it came out at kind of a weird time. I was actually transitioning to studying abroad in London when it started, and I only made one video, and then I finished the rest of the season, but didn't have the greatest opinion. And I wanted to share some of the reasons for that. What I'm, of course, talking about is Fear the Walking Dead, the Walking Dead spin-off show that came out in 2015. And this was late August it came out. It was announced, I think, a year prior. And the show, from what I understood of how they marketed it to start, was that it was going to focus on what was going on when Rick was in his coma at the beginning of the Walking Dead series, and kind of the lead up to how the zombie outbreak started. And I was like, okay, wow, that's pretty cool. Not only that, it was going to take place on the West Coast in California, so I also thought that was a pretty cool additive, because Georgia is all the way on the East Coast, basically, and to put ourselves on the West Coast, different characters. We know that we're not going to have any interactions between other characters, at least not for a long time. In 3 seasons, I don't believe there have been any characters from the original Walking Dead that have transitioned into Fear the Walking Dead so far, as of the 2nd episode of season 3. So, I guess that's something. As of right now, the show, I don't know the viewership numbers, but I definitely see people complaining about it far more than The Walking Dead. I already made a video talking about people complaining about season 7 of The Walking Dead, not liking the show. And so I know that some people don't like The Walking Dead, but there's definitely a larger group that doesn't like Fear the Walking Dead. And I'm one of those people. I don't like Fear the Walking Dead. I watched season 1, which was 6 episodes, and I did a review of episode 1, which just had an average turnout. I just gave some initial impressions of it. And I thought the first episode was pretty decent. Now, when those first 6 came out, it again focused on the waning days, or the beginning, the precursor of the zombie outbreak. And I thought that the majority of the show would focus on the zombie outbreak in California, and because Los Angeles being a heavily populated area compared to, Georgia, I know Atlanta's heavily populated, but, the countryside, Kings County, Georgia, that we were seeing in the first kind of episode when we weren't dealing with Atlanta, I didn't think that it was too populated so that you'd get that kind of massive panic. And again, there were no mass numbers of humans alive in The Walking Dead when we started. Everyone's been dead. We only had that very small group that was hiding out at the campsite with Shane. But with this show, we see civilization operating under normal circumstances. And the first zombie that we see is when Nick sees the zombie in that crack house, I think, and he runs away thinking that it's a bad dream, or it's just something that's a nightmare. He doesn't think he's seeing something that's real. And as the episodes go on, you start to see more and more, like there's the scene where somebody turns into a zombie on the highway and the paramedics try to treat him, and then the zombie attacks the person. Like, I liked all of that scary factor about the zombie, like no one understanding the rules, like no one knowing that zombies can only be killed from the head, that you come back no matter how you die, you turn into one because of the the viral nature of the infection. And so I thought it was very cool, those first couple of episodes. But quickly the show turns into The Walking Dead 2.0, and this is where I have my major gripes about the show. Because by the end of season 1, they meet a character named Strand or Strange or something like that, who has a yacht, and he's going to escort them to the water in order for them to be safe. Now, I don't know what happens beyond this because I haven't watched season 2 or 3 of the show. I know season 3 just started, but I haven't bothered to watch season 2 because I just wasn't impressed with the first 6 episodes, the first season. I just didn't care. I don't feel like the characters are very well developed. The main character of the group, Travis, who is the father of his family, there's Madison and Travis, and they have 2 kids. I know Nick is the one that has some health-related problems. And then there's the girl. I forget her name, but the actress who plays her is very hot. That's just my opinion as a guy. That might be one of the only reasons I would watch the show if I were to continue watching it, but that's a pretty sad reason to continue watching a TV show. But, people watch shows for crazier reasons, I guess. But, you have that family unit, and then you have Travis's ex-wife and kid, who are also kind of get wrapped up into it. And then you have this barber that they meet. They meet him at a random barber shop, and they hide out in his shop when the police start to fight back against people who are rioting in the city when there's other zombies outbreaking. And everything's... This is when the chaos starts to happen. This is around in episode 3, episode 4, and shit's just hitting the fan, and the cops come to deal with the situation, and it kind of gets out of control quick. And this is the greatest the show has to offer, in my opinion, because we get to see panic. We get to see how, again, like I said earlier, how large groups of people deal with the zombie outbreak occurring in their immediate area, and I think it's very entertaining. And it's just, for me, the whole concept of the virus has always been a mystery. The only episode that really jumped into the biological nature of it was the first couple episodes, or actually the last episodes of season 1 of the original Walking Dead TV show with Dr. Edwin Jenner at the CDC. Some of the experiments that him and his wife were doing to understand the virus, and this is when Frank Darabont was still directing the show, and I believe he wanted to take it in that direction. And this is content that wasn't in the comic book series, but Robert Kirkman gave them liberty to, film it. And I thought it was interesting because it humanized the whole experience and kind of just personalized it, because the turning into a zombie is a personal process, and understanding the virus from that angle it was intriguing. And some of the moments in Fear the Walking Dead in that first season brought back some of those moments for me. But again, the show basically, from everything I've seen, from reviews that I've seen, I haven't watched season 2, but having watched season 1, even at the end of season 1, by episodes 3 and 4, the world has basically fallen. Episodes 4, 5, and 6, their house is under military quarantine, and the military has already seized certain sectors, and civilization has basically fallen. Like everything's under martial law, and that's it. Within the first couple of episodes of the show, this has already happened. The show jumps so quickly into this, and I don't understand why. I would have loved if the show had dragged out that build up to everything falling apart in society. And I think it would have been more interesting to see the build up to that, rather than just trying to get to these random people surviving. It's like they're trying to rehash the Walking Dead formula. I mean, the Walking Dead is going into its 8th season, and Fear the Walking Dead is still trying to get us to care about characters who we've only been with for a few years, and they're doing all of the same things that our original cast are doing. How do they survive? How do they deal with zombies turning? How do they deal with the monsters that they're becoming in light of this terrible world, and how other people make decisions? And these are all of the thematic motifs and elements that we've seen in the original Walking Dead over the course of 7 to 8 years. And Fear the Walking Dead is not introducing anything new, and it's just kind of rehashing the same formula, when I believe that the beginning of the show had a very different formula pitch. It was talking about, the initial outbreak, how a society in large groups of people, government maybe, react to a wide-scale outbreak. We're talking World War Z, but with a smaller scope focus, because World War Z was all over the fucking place, and the zombies had running capabilities, could run up walls, and Brad Pitt's running from country to country trying to figure out how to stop this thing, and it's all about how to stop the virus. Whereas this is more about the humans, but again, I feel like it should have been taken from a different angle. It definitely should have been, because you don't want to just copy the formula of your other big hit TV show. I mean, AMC just really probably didn't think about this that much. They're like, oh yeah, The Walking Dead, the most successful television show, ratings, in the, millions. If we do Fear the Walking Dead, clearly we're going to hit those margin numbers as well. And they did hit some of those margins for the first season, I did see, but I don't know if they're hitting them for the next couple of seasons. I know that their showrunner is changing. I'm not sure if Gimple's taking over. I heard rumors about that, which that would suck, because I'd rather him be focused on The Walking Dead, since that's the show that I'm majorly interested in, and I wouldn't want him to divert his time and devotion to The Walking Dead to deal with a show that I believe is subpar. Again, these are all just my opinions, but I've felt this way about Fear the Walking Dead for a long time. It's just boring. Like the characters are just not interesting to me. Other than that one girl where I can stare at her ass all day, I'm not getting anything else out of the show. Like, I'm really just bored with it. I'm just bored with the concept, them just, moseying around on the boat, or just, We've seen this with The Walking Dead, too. The Walking Dead makes this mistake where they were on, Herschel's farm for the entirety of season 2, and, the pace of the show kind of dragged a little bit. So, we've seen this happen before, and Fear the Walking Dead somehow thinks, well, because it's a new show, and we've got new characters, we can get away with it, right? It's like, no, you can't. It doesn't work like that, sorry. People like myself are turned off, and I've seen lots of other hate comments, and this is a spoiler, and I did see this even though I don't watch the show. This is a spoiler for Fear the Walking Dead. I saw that they killed off their main character, which is ballsy, but apparently the main character, Travis, just died in the most recent episode last night, which is a gutsy move, but I can't comment on whether that was a good or bad decision, because, again, I don't watch the show. I haven't really been dedicated to the character of Travis. It seemed like he was turning into Rick Grimes, basically. Like, he's kind of weak to start with, doesn't know how to deal with the world, and then adapts and becomes a badass and a savage, and then maybe has to tone it down a little bit. Like, again, everything we've already seen. When The Walking Dead was doing this was something new at the time. We hadn't seen it, so it was very interesting and appealing, but now it's just like, you know what it reminds me of, actually? It reminds me of the Avenger films. Take the Avenger universe of what DC and Marvel are doing in movies. Think of how many DC Marvel films come out on a yearly basis. All right, just off the top of your head, think about whether they're good or bad. Doesn't matter. Just think about how many come out in a given year. It's ridiculous, right? You got freaking Wonder Woman, Logan, you've got all of the different Avenger films, you've got the new Spider-Man reboot, you had Batman and Superman the year before. There's just, you had Suicide Squad the year before as well. You have like a million of these superhero movies, because Chris Nolan kind of set the bar with the Christian Bale Batman series, and kind of set the bar for what superhero movies can do with live action, and just, showed that they're box office hits. And Hollywood's like, oh, we got to get ourselves that easy cash. And now they are just milking it with 100 of these films. Now, I'll admit some of them are very good. Like Logan, I went to see Logan in theaters and was blown away. I thought it was one of the best movies I'd seen in a long time. So some of them hit high, but others kind of hit low. Like Suicide Squad was an okay movie. The plot was all over the place, and they had a million superheroes and supervillains in it, and it just was like, okay, like it was just the movie was kind of all over the place. So again, not to go off topic here, my comparison is that too much of the same formula can feel stale to your audience, and even though you might get initial viewership and the traction of your audience is good to start, it doesn't always stay consistent like that. And it's foolish to think otherwise. I mean, this show is going into its third season, and is it really doing much to diversify the formula? Like, again, what's the end goal for these people? If Fear the Walking Dead had dealt with maybe, some government or some scientists dealing with the virus itself, maybe some of these characters are involved with that. Just something different, man. Like, I don't want a rehash of The Walking Dead. I just, it's just, I feel like it would just become kind of boring. And again, I'm not a big fan of the characters. They're just, I don't know. Just the acting ability of some of the actors, I'm not very confident in. It's just, I'm just not into it. They just don't resonate with me. So those are my opinions on Fear the Walking Dead. I felt like I'd get them off my chest now while they were fresh in my head. I was planning on making this vlog today because I knew it had been a while since I've actually made a Walking Dead formal vlog, and I wanted to relay that to you guys. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of Fear the Walking Dead, because some people have asked me to do reaction videos to it, and every single time I say no, because I'm not interested in doing it. I would be bored. This would literally be my reaction to Fear the Walking Dead. Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Oh, okay. That would be my reaction. That would literally be my reaction to Fear the Walking Dead if I were to do it. And I just don't, I just don't feel like wasting my time. There's other TV shows I could be watching. Like, I just started watching Westworld, or I don't know if it's plural or not, but still, I started watching it. A few months ago, back in March, I watched the entirety of season 1 of Stranger Things. That was a great show. So there's other shows out there that deserve my time and attention, far more than Fear the Walking Dead. Because again, I've already spent 7 seasons watching The Walking Dead, and I'm invested in that universe with those characters, in the years that those characters have spent adapting to the world and now dealing with a pretty threatening villain. And I'm just invested in that storyline so much, I just don't care to jump into another storyline, even if it does overlap with The Walking Dead at some point. I just won't care. So, yep, that's my verdict. And again, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any other ideas for vlogs as well. I'm run out of ideas here because there's no real content for The Walking Dead coming out. Game of Thrones doesn't come out till July, and we won't get our Comic-Con trailer for The Walking Dead until mid-July. So Season 8 trailer will be mid-July. Reaction video for that. Guaranteed. They always come out with a trailer during San Diego Comic-Con, so expect that. That's what you can expect. So that's the report in terms of new videos and stuff. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.